Hi everybody. This recording is for Zat Hashem for Herion Takin of Rivkah Bat Diana. Zat Hashem, today we're going to talk about two important points from the Parasha that we could use in our everyday life. This is a loaded Parasha, and Parashat Shelah obviously talks about the Meraglim, the spies that Moshe Rabbeinu sends on his own initiative, although Hashem doesn't hold them back. But Moshe Rabbeinu sends them, and we're not going to get into why he sends them. He should have sent them, whatever it is. But the fact is that it was sent, and they were sent to look for the good things about Eretz Yisrael and to bring back a report about the good things. And you know that there's a difference between the spy. A spy is always looking for the bad things of a country in order to bring back a report and say what are the bad stuff, where we could go in, where we could attack. But Moshe Rabbeinu, when he sent them to Eretz Yisrael, he said to them to bring out the good things, like a tourist. You know, the Japanese tourists, when they go everywhere and they take pictures. Here at the Kotel in Yerushalayim, you still see the cameras. Everybody comes and takes pictures. They say, wow, Yerushalayim, the Kotel. But what did they do? They went and, unfortunately, they brought in bad information. That's why at the end of the Parasha, we have the Parasha of Sisit. So this is Lo Taturu Achere V'Achem. When it comes to bad things, like, not looking at, bad pictures that would bring to Hirhuri and what have you, a person should not go after his eyes. But for the good things, to see the Torah and the beautiful life that a Torah person lives, Eretz Yisrael, all the things that Hashem has made, he should be like the tourist that is always saying good things about Hashem's creation. Now the Chafetz Chaim, they ask, how could it be that we're talking about these are people that are tzaddikim? There were, each one of them that were sent, the spies, they were actually the head of 50 people. And these are people, Talmidei Chachamim, they have their heads on their shoulder. So what happened? Why did they choose to come back and bring a bad report and say Lashon Hara on the land? That unfortunately sealed our forefathers to be in the Midbar for 40 years, and they were all buried there, and they didn't come to Eretz Yisrael. So the answer is like this. We all know there's different answers. One is that they said if they go to Eretz Yisrael, they're not going to continue to be the leaders they are. But whatever it is, one of the main focuses that the Chafetz Chaim brings down is that something that we do in our lives every day. Whenever Yitzhar comes to a person, and he says that, you think you're such a big tzaddik, don't you remember what you did yesterday, this avera, you went with that person, you did this thing, you're a piece of nothing. He sees you fall down, and he keeps you down. He doesn't let you get up. And that's what the Meraglim said. They came and they said to the people, to the Jewish people, it says, of course Hashem could give us this land, although there are giants in that land, or whatever it is. But don't forget, not long ago, we did the golden calf. We also talked about the man, and a lot of people died in the... We have to be tzaddikim gemurim when it comes to the palace of the king, which is Eretz Yisrael. A person cannot act like he does, like he's outside of Eretz Yisrael. Outside of Eretz Yisrael, it's not the palace of the king. It could get away, whatever it is. You can't get away with anything, but Hashem is more forbearing. But when it comes to the palace, and you drop your coffee, you're smoking, or whatever it is, of course the guards are going to put you away much faster. So that's why they said, we go into a land that we have to be tzaddikim gemurim, we have to be extra righteous. And we can't be that. Moshe Rabbeinu is not going to come to Eretz Yisrael, and we're not going to have the zechut of Moshe Rabbeinu. But that's the biggest mistake. And that's the biggest mistake a person will make. When a person, you have to know that in the Torah, after all the golden calf or whatever it is, we're still called Banim Atem Hashem Lelokechem. No matter what it is, no matter how low a Jew could get, he's still considered a son to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Just like a son, we call Bar Mitzvah, he's a son. That Hashem could never give a divorce to his son because he's part of his being, he's part of his biological being, his Neshama. Whatever, how bad he gets, a father will never give a divorce to his son. So too, by the Jewish people, Hashem says, you're my sons. No matter how bad you get, you should still get back up and do teshuvah. And like we say, Uvo Latzion Goel, Hashem will bring the Moshiach, not for the people that are, if they do averot, whatever it is, He'll bring it for them also if they do teshuvah. Only for people who are pushim, that they take out the Torah mitzvot with their hands, and they make angry Hashem with their bad behavior, because they know it's wrong and they still do it. Those people, if they don't do teshuvah, Mashiach won't come for them. But other people who are doing it because of their ta'avot or whatever it is, if they learn the right stuff and they do teshuvah, Hashem obviously is going to forgive them. And that's why the Jewish people should not have listened to the Meraglim, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu, although they're coming to the palace of the king, and you have to behave over there more, but they forgot the fact that we're the sons of the king, and the king has extra rachamim for the children, and he always accepts their teshuvah. That's number one. Second thing you want to talk about today is the story in the end of the Parasha, the person, the Mekoshesh Etzim. Is a machloket in the Gemara. Who is this person, and why is he brought that in the Torah? Most of the consensus, this guy's name is Salofchad. Salofchad, and we know that after the Hashem told Moshe to the mitzvah of keeping Shabbat with all these laws, that this person got up after they kept Shabbat. Everybody kept Shabbat for one Shabbat in the desert. He got up and said, "I want to teach the Jewish people a lesson." He rationalized. He says, if I show them that what kind of a bad thing will come out of somebody who does not keep Shabbat, and they see the punishment for it, so all the Jewish people will never dare to break Shabbat. And that's why he went and gathered a few pieces of wood on Shabbat, and they gave him a warning, and he still did it, and they put him away to see what's going to be. And Hashem gave the command to Moshe Rabbeinu to give him the death penalty. Before then, it was not known what the penalty would be for somebody who dares not to keep Shabbat. So the question is, but he actually meant good for the Jewish people. He was a tzaddik. He wanted to show, but he gave up his own life, he wanted to show what kind of a punishment would come if somebody dares to not keep Shabbat. So why is he punished? Actually, he should be rewarded. That's what you and I would say. But when it comes to this point that Hashem put into the Torah, he wants to teach us a big lesson. When it comes to keeping the Torah, don't rationalize with God. If he says keep Shabbat, don't go overboard to show other people what could happen. Go teach them halachot. But to go and break Shabbat to tell people this is what's going to happen, that God did not ask you. In fact, he was not the first person to do this. Way before him, in the beginning of creation, when Hashem created Adam HaRishon, of course, we could never understand what the sin of Adam HaRishon was. Yes, we have cartoons. He ate from the apple, and his wife gave him the apple. All these kids, when we grew up as kids, we show. It says in the Zohar HaKadosh, Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, Adam HaRishon asked him, when Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai's Neshama went up, Adam HaRishon met him and says, please, in the Zohar, write down whatever is written down in the Torah. You could never understand the test that I went through. Only whatever is written down in the Torah, teach. Because you could never come to understand what it was in Gan Eden, what test we had to go through. But what the little of Chazal tell us, the test that he had, before he ate from the tree that Hashem told him not to eat from, the Yetzer Hara was an entity that was outside of his body, in the form of the snake, that could talk. But Adam and Chava, they came and rationalized. They said, why should we... It seems like it's a pretty easy test. Why shouldn't we take the Yetzer Hara inside of our body by eating from the tree, and the test will be harder, and we'll pass the test, and we'll get more reward. So they ate from the tree. That's what Chazal tell us. In order to get more reward, to show Hashem that we could be greater than what Hashem thought they could be. But obviously, when Hashem tells you not to do something, He doesn't want you to be an extra tzaddik. Like Shlomo Melech says, Al tiyeh tzaddik harbeh. What I told you to do. Don't go overboard. Of course, there's some things that you have to go overboard to make fences around the Torah, like the Nazir, when he takes a vow not to drink wine, we tell him also not to go next to a vineyard, because he has to make protection fences. But for a person to come and rationalize and says, I'm going to be, kevyachol, as it were, at smart guard and be a smarter person than him to get more reward, Hashem says, please, don't play my part. You're not God. And if I told you not to do something, don't do it. It's for your own good. Another example that we have, of course, we can't talk about these people. They're such holy people. But if the sages tell us in the Gemara what the story was a little bit, we have to talk about it so we can learn from it. Not to make the same mistakes. Shaul HaMelech. Bechir Hashem, David HaMelech calls Shaul HaMelech Bechir Hashem, Moshiach Hashem. Hashem comes and tells Shlomo to tell Shaul to go and wipe out Amalek, from the king to the all the soldiers, to the wives, to the kids, and to the infants, and to the animals. Don't spare one. So comes Shaul HaMelech, again, we can't say this by ourselves, but this is in the Gemara. He came and says he did it, Kal V'chomer, from the Eglah Rufa. If one body dies and what kind of thing we have to bring korbanot, whatever it is, so too, maybe I shouldn't kill all these animals. All these animals, these fat sheep, you could bring it as korbanot, as sacrifices. And he kept the king alive until he brings it to Shemuel, so Shemuel could come and kill him. He rationalized. He said, I'm going to keep him alive. And the sheep, he kept the best sheep alive because he listened to the people. That's why he couldn't be a king, because when you're a king, you cannot be influenced by people. Yeah? To be a king in the Jewish community, to be the Moshiach, you're not influenced by the stupid democracy that we see today, how all the people are leading the presidents, and the presidents are not leading the people. Of course, you need to be a good king, and you have to take care of the people, or whatever it is. But for stupid, minority to come and to put all its weight on the majority and destroy the whole country and destroying the whole world, like we see today, how ridiculous people have become to take stupid laws and to stample on the lives of so many people because they're trying to be a cult and affect other people. That's not what God wanted. Back to our subject over here. Hashem said to Shemuel that I regret to make Shaul king because he's listening to the people. I told him to kill Amalek. He wants to have Rahmanot. He thinks that he is more Rahmanot than me. He cannot be more merciful than God. Same question that we hear today. Rabbi, why are you going and doing shchita? Poor animals. What do you mean poor animals? God told you could eat meat. Eat meat. Now, if you have a problem, when it comes to physical, the doctor told you not to eat it, I understand. Say I'm not eating meat because it's not merciful. That is becoming a kofir. That means you're telling God I'm more merciful than you. And we saw with the Nazis what happened in the Holocaust. They had the pet cemeteries and burying dogs, and they were killing millions of people left and right. 56 million people died in the Holocaust, 6 million Jews and 50 million people on the side. But they were burying dogs. And that's why Chazal tell us when you have mercy, when you have to be cruel, in the end you'll be cruel when you have to have mercy. Back to our subject over here. From Adam Arishon, from Shaul, and Solofchat, don't rationalize. You're not more merciful than God. Don't make rationalizations. Maybe if I do this, it'll be better. I told you to do it. Do it. I tell you to do it. Don't do it. Period. We're going to finalize with a story over here that maybe it'll hit the point harder home. There was a king that he made a bet with another king in the nearby country. Let's say Putin and Zelensky, okay? For our day-to-day venture. Yeah, Putin said to his treasurer that I'm going to send you to Zelensky, yeah? And when you go over there, whatever he says, if he wants to give you money, no matter how much it is, don't take it from him. Because he didn't know, the treasurer didn't know that Putin and Zelensky had made a bet. Zelensky said, if you come over here, if you send your treasurer over here, yeah, if I give him money, that means you have to give me, if I give him money, you have to give me $10 million. You're going to lose the bet. So he said, whatever it is, you should go over there, and don't take anything from me. Don't take anything from him. So the treasurer goes over there, and along the way he's thinking, yeah, but what if I could make a deal for the king that we could take millions of dollars for the treasury? As a treasurer, that's what he's thinking about money. How to make the king more rich. He goes over there. The other king, he accepts him. He brings him in. He gives him, good food. Treats him like very, very fancy. And then he says, you know what? Please, let me give you $10 million. $10 million to take back to your kingdom. I love your kingdom, whatever it is. I like your king. He's thinking to himself, the king told me not to take $1 million, maybe $2 million, but he'll be very happy if I bring back $10 million from the treasury. And then he gave it and he took back the money. Came back very happy to the king. The king says, what happened? How's everything? Did you take any money back from him? I hope you did it. He's like, no, the king, no. You told me probably you were thinking $1 million, $2 million. But I did him. I did him. I took $10 million back for the treasury. You know how much we could use that for our soldiers to kill more Ukrainian soldiers? So Putin, or this king, called him a fool. He's like, you took $2 million, but you didn't know that I lost $100 million. Because he made a bet with me that he gives you money, I'm going to lose $100 million. So too, we see from the story that when it comes to Hashem, sometimes we chas v'shalom think that we could outsmart or be more merciful than God. Get this out of your head. You could never be more merciful than God. If He tells you to do something, do it. And if you think, no, it's not merciful, it seems cruel, and then the guy's going to be more cruel to the merciful and be merciful to the cruel. B'ezrat Hashem, we should learn from these lessons not to be like the Meraglim, to always look good and to bring out the good things, especially when it comes to our Jewish brethren and sisters, to always talk to Hashem and to bring out the good things. When it comes to Eretz Yisrael, don't ever say bad anything about Eretz Yisrael. I always tell people, the Gemara on Kuf Yud Bet and Ketubot, the Amoraim, they used to, when they were in Eretz Yisrael, in a hot day, they took off their jacket. On a cold day, they put on a jacket. So chas v'shalom, they could never say that Eretz Yisrael is cold or hot. Why? Because it's the Eretz that HaKadosh Baruch Hu made. This is like the pupil of His eye. So too with the Jewish people, we are banim LaHashem Elokeinu, that we have to treat each other with respect. If we see our brother or sister off the derech, they're not keeping the Torah. When it comes to Hashem, you got to pray to Hashem that there should be chozer b'tshuva. But when it comes also to the Jewish person himself, you have to give him hochacha, the mitzvah d'oraita, in a nice way. Take him to the side. Tell him maybe you don't know this is wrong. Maybe you don't know that this is Shabbat today. This is for our own good to eat kosher. You can't be more merciful than God. If God told us to do this, then He knows the best for us. But we should get these ideas into our head, and we should zocheh to the final redemption, which we know that if you would have kept 2 Shabbats in the desert, you would have been redeemed. They already had kept 1 Shabbat, and came the Tzaddik Solofchad, and he thought that if I show them that what it means to break Shabbat, I will be saving thousands of people, millions of people in the future. But who knows what he's getting now in the upstairs, because that was the Shabbat they were supposed to keep. That was the second Shabbat, and if they would have kept it, we're all being Gan Eden today. Again, we can't judge Solofchad, Shaul HaMelech, Adam HaRishon, but we could judge ourselves, and we should learn these lessons, and B'ezrat Hashem, don't rationalize with Hashem's plans. Do what He says, do what the Chachamim tell us to do, and B'ezrat Hashem, with that, V'zdochetu Moshiach Tzidkenu B'mera Amen. Shabbat Shalom U'Barach.